This podcast is not about a filmmaker story. It's everything about career reinvention, chasing passion, and life lessons you can apply in your own life. You started off as a software engineer, then you made your first feature film. How did this whole transformation even begin?
What happened is that in 2010, I lost my father. There was a time that one day I was going through these scripts that he has written. So that was the first introduction to a script. I thought, wow, this is the area that, I really wanted to explore on. But if you think that you want to make a film, it should go on a theater, it should come on to the OTT platform, then it's very important for the film to have a commercial value attached to it. So I was doing my IT job as well as I was doing the hustle and the struggle for the film. So it's in itself, it's so beautiful thing because you're able to do both these things. Like you have to keep trying consistently. Keep trying, keep doing that. If you fail, do that again. The moment you stop, your journey to achieve what you want to achieve, it ends over there. I was watching the film in the theater and it was an experience like as if I'm sitting in a stadium and watching the cricket match. Amir Khan is watching with his bat and then there is a background music. Ding, 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 interesting, da, 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 ding.
This is the Raw and Real podcast brought to you by Concept and Crafts. Every episode, we uncover stories behind success, struggles, and everything in between. My name is Mazhar, and I've got someone today whose story is nothing short of extraordinary. I've got with me Mr. Ali Syed, who's a filmmaker who made his debut with the feature film Hindi Vindi. This podcast is not about a filmmaker story. It's everything about career reinvention, chasing passion, and life lessons you can apply in your own life. Let's get raw. Let's get real. Welcome, Ali Bhai, for the first episode of the Raw and Real podcast. I would like to thank you firstly for accepting our invitation.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Mazhar. I'm glad that you reach out to me to be a part of this podcast.
Thank you. Firstly, Ali Bhai, firstly, I would like to ask you, how are you doing? How's everything going on?
I think everything is going amazing. It's sometimes it gets very, very busy because as you know, my first feature film Hindi Vindi just got released couple of weeks ago, and just after the release of the film, I took a small break and then I started working on the second film. So I'm in the writing phase of the second film. But yeah, overall, I think it's beautiful. It's going amazing.
Now, Ali Bhai, talking about all this stuff, what you've told me, you started off as a software engineer, then you made your first feature film. I would love to know, how did this whole transformation even begin?
It's a long journey. So let's go back maybe 15 years ago. 2010, that's when it all started. So I'm sure most of my friends and family, you would also know that my father, he was a writer in the Bollywood film industry back in India. So I've grown up watching him making films. And from my early childhood days, I had this idea that, I wanted to be into the films. So I think it all started from there. From there, that I had this idea that I wanted to do something in the film, but the life is never easy for you, and the journey is never easy. But I think the most important thing is that you have to be consistently. You have to keep chasing your passion, that what you wanted to do. So I wanted to do something in film. So initially, back in those days, in 2010. I always wanted to be in the film, but I was always on the passive side.
Okay, got it.
Always there was this idea that I wanted to do something, but I was not doing enough to get into this career path.
Okay.
But then what happened is that in 2010, I lost my father. So when I lost him, there was a time that one day I was going through these scripts that he has written.
Okay.
And most of those scripts, so he used to write in Urdu language. And
Oh, that is amazing.
yeah, so I could not read the Urdu. I mean, I could read little bit, but not a complete entire script. So I reached out to one of my sister who was very proficient with reading the Urdu. So I asked her if she can help me in saying those, if she can read, and then I'll translate it into
English,
Roman English. So that was the first introduction for me as to a script. So I started doing that exercise. Once the script was completed, I thought, wow, this is the area that I really wanted to explore on. And then I started working on those scripts. So my father's scripts, because he wrote those scripts in in early 90s, it was a bit outdated. So I wanted to fix it. So I fixed few things. So that was the first time when I started actually put the pen as a writer and started writing. And when I went outside and started narrating the stories to a lot of filmmakers and the production houses. So that happened in like 2011, 2012. But then I at that point in time, I was already married. I had a kid, and we started moving from one country to another. So I was in Japan. Then finally, we moved to Australia. So the moment I came to Australia in 2016, that was the first time I thought, no, enough is enough. I mean, I have been just passively thinking about doing something. Let me take a camera and make something. So I started making my short film. So everything started from 2016 onward when I made my first short film.
Ali bhai, one thing I would love to know is, because your father was into Bollywood, he's made movies. I mean, he's written for good movies, some renowned movies,
Yeah.
what I know about. So did you not have any sort of a comfort level in terms of, the backing of your father so you could easily get into Bollywood? Is this something you did not want to pursue?
So basically, I mean, when people are talking about nepotism,
Yeah.
I don't at all believe in nepotism.
Right.
So, like, those who are whose parents are already very actively doing something in the film industry,
Right.
the kids, it's very easy for them to get into the film line, either in the career acting career or in the direction or in the in technical department. So getting a break for them is very, very easy. But then to survive in this industry, I think it's very, very important that you have to be good in what you're doing. So that's a different topic. So coming back to my topic, um, my father was very active in the early 90s and maybe in the late 90s as well.
Right.
But then, as you know, in film industry, there is a huge up and downs keeps happening. So in the during the year like late 2000, he was not very much connected to the film industry. So when he
Right.
passed away, and but still the film industry was pretty kind to me. Like when I had the scripts from my father, I did give call to a lot of people which were like those people knew about my father. So it was very easy for me to get a appointment or a meeting to them, to secure a meeting. So I reached out to them, I narrated the story, but then it was not that easy for them to just say yes,
Yes.
this
Okay.
is the, and at that point in time I think I was also going with the intention, that this is my father's story. I can you just read the
Direct it.
story, and if you can if you can just if you like the story, you can just direct. So that was the intention for me. But I think I was still getting a lot of response. Like this was just the beginning of my career in the film industry, I would say. But I was able to meet so many big filmmakers, and so I was like, I would say that it's like if you have the intention, if you want to reach out to the people, people will really appreciate and they will give the time to you.
Okay. That is
Yeah.
interesting. But I understand, like, your father's legacy obviously had a bit of
Yeah.
role in you shaping up your career and all that stuff. But was there any point where you thought, like, you're risking your IT career getting into the movie industry?
Mm.
Because I understand a lot of people want to have that security of the career
Yeah.
before pursuing the passion.
Yeah.
So, do you ever think that you were risking your career towards the movies by neglecting a bit of your IT career?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So basically, I never risked my IT career. I think that is one of the reason why it took 16 years for me to make my first film. Because when the moment I from passiveness, when from the passive to to
a bit
converting
active.
into the active, at that point in time I was already married and I had a kid. So I
Okay.
was already like I had a family and I wanted, like, that was my priority.
Right.
If my journey from passive to active would have happened maybe 5 years ago, when I was all by myself, was single, I would have not gone into the IT career. I would chosen a career which is close to the filmmaking career.
Right.
So, but because my journey happened at that point in time when it was more important for me to make sure that I'm able to pay my bills, I never left my job. I was doing my job. I was doing a normal IT job, and I was also doing my hustle for getting into the film industry.
Right.
And similar thing when I moved to Australia. Like Australia is more, it's more expensive. Like you have to pay the bills, you have to pay your mortgages, and I also had two kids. So I could not leave my job. So I was doing my IT job as well as I was doing the hustle and the struggle for the film. So it's in itself, it's so beautiful thing because you're able to do both these things, but it also takes more time. Like maybe someone might have been able to make that. Like I'm just assuming apple to apple comparison. If there is an Ali Sayed who is doing without IT job, who is trying to do something in the films, he might have been able to make Hindi Vindi in the year of 2018
Right.
rather than me making
Absolutely.
it in 2025.
Correct.
So yeah. So it just takes more time. That's it.
Right. I guess it gets a bit difficult also to balance things when you're already having a family, a job, and
Absolutely.
then
Yeah.
pursuing passion towards a movie. Talking about that, I've known you from the time when you were making short
Yeah.
films. I would love to know, like, what did the short film making and all that teach you about courage and humility? Because a lot goes into making a short film too,
Mm.
because it's not something that is gonna fetch you a lot of commercial revenue or
Mm.
probably a lot of stuff, but still you need to have passion to make that. So what do you think was something that short film taught you about, like, sort of humility or courage? What do you think
Yeah.
did the short films teach you?
For a filmmaker like me or any aspiring filmmakers in the industry who are trying to do something, I believe the short film is a beautiful medium because that is a medium through which you can showcase your skills without um, spending a lot of money or without getting the approvals from the big production houses or the big actors. You just have to have your own camera. You have to have choose your friends who also
Hmm.
have the same passion along with you. Write a beautiful story that is a bit out of the box, and then just go and execute it. So when you do a short film, it actually show you that um, nothing is difficult. You know,
Right.
if you can do a short film, because making a short film and commercial film and a feature film, there is not much difference between these two things. Of course, the form is different. Like short film, you're talking about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes max to max.
Right.
And feature film, you're talking about 2 hours, 1.5 hour, or 3 hours maybe. So the amount of time the film is running will differ between these two forms, but the actual way of making the film will not change. It will also have 3 acts. It will also have the same process of writing, directing, editing. And also, I think going back to your question, the about the courage and humility, um, I would say that it is making a short film keeps you motivated,
Hmm.
because like very similar to your corporate career, right? In corporate career, you have a longer term plan,
You
long
have to start
vision,
somewhere.
and then you have a short vision. So you can't just try to achieve the plan that you have got longer
Long
long
run plan,
plan.
yeah.
Yeah. So you have to start with taking one step at a time. I believe short film is the best medium because you prove yourself. Even you will learn in the journey. You will understand that you are growing as a creative filmmaker, and then of course then I think you will be ready once you have completed a couple of short films.
Interesting. That is interesting. One thing I would love to know from you, when since we're talking about short films
Mm.
and you've enlightened us a lot about short films, I'd love to know from you is some of the challenges or struggles you faced while doing short films.
Challenges, yeah, of course, there will be a lot of challenges. I'm just thinking that what are the most important challenge? The most important challenge is that so let's break it down. So if you come with a idea that you want to make a short film, the
Right.
most important challenge at that point in time is about a story.
Story.
You need to have a story that can make you that can put you into a zone which is different to the other people who are making the film.
Mhm.
So it has to be an extraordinary,
It has to be a bit unique from what
bit
others
unique
make.
and extraordinary story. Once you have that story, once you have completed the story, then you need to. The important challenging part is to get the right amount of people and
Mhm.
the technicians and the other people who can help in making the short film to you, because you can't
Do it
make
on
all
your
by
own.
yourself. I mean, there has been a time when I made the short film all by myself. Like if you watch my very first short film called Lost in Transit, still on YouTube, that was made by two-person,
Mm.
me and the other was just this actress. So I did the direction, camera,
Editing.
editing, and everything I did by myself. So that is also possible. But then at the end of the day, I think it's more important that in the short film phase, you also learn how to collaborate with the other technicians. So
Right.
getting the team now, of course, you'll when you want to get the team, the most
Mm.
important challenge that you'll face is the money.
Right.
So either if you have some money from your job that you want to use and invest for your short film in your short film journey, you can spend like around $500 or $1,000 or maybe 1,500. Let's assume that you have the money, so you are able to invest by yourself.
Correct.
But if you don't have the money, then you have to go and to get collaborate with those people who can work for free, who can work free for you because they also have the same vision. So that
Mm.
is the most important challenge. Once you are able to um, come across those challenges, and if let's say if you're able to make the short film, then the most important thing is that how can you put it in front of the audience? Can you put?
Correct.
Do you want to put it on a YouTube channel? Do you want to go and put it onto the all the film festivals across the
festivals, yeah.
world? So the challenges will keep coming at every phases, and then the beauty is that you have to
Manage.
manage, and you have to solve these challenges, and every time it will be different.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess it teaches you a lot of different
Yeah, it
things too.
does teaches you and get you put you into a situation you will be ready for the feature film then.
Absolutely. Ali bhai, one thing I would love to know from you is you made a huge transition from short films to a feature film. I would love to know from you. One thing is when you wrote Hindi Vindi and when you were pitching it to a lot of people, let's say you just pitched it to XYZ people in the beginning, what sort of reactions did you get? First reactions from people?
Hindi Vindi, the project Hindi Vindi as a feature film, that also started with a short film.
Okay,
So in
interesting.
2019, I think just pre-COVID, I made a very beautiful, emotional short film again with my friends and family, about a boy, 10-year-old boy who gets on the journey to learn the Hindi language for
His
for
grandma.
his grandma. And then I made this short film, and then I started getting the recognitions from the friends, families, and also from the industry people. So I thought that this is really a very beautiful story that I made, and I've got a little bit greedy, so I removed it from YouTube, and I thought let me focus on converting this short film into a full feature film. So I started writing the full feature film script. So I wrote first draft, and then I started working on more draft on that, and then I started narrating it to the industry people. So the audience, the reaction from the industry people was a little bit calm. It was not, oh wow, it's such an extraordinary story. They were liking it. They did mention to me the emotional questions is perfect, but I think it needs a little bit more work. The problem in that draft is that it was a beautiful story, but it was missing the commercial value. Like you can't
Right.
make with that draft, you can't make a commercial project. So the most important thing, which I learned during all this phase, is that having a beautiful story is important. But at the same time, if you're not making for the commercial cinema, then it's fine. Then you don't need to
Right.
worry about that. But if you think that you want to make a film, it should go on a theater, it should come on to the OTT platform, then it's very important for the film to have a commercial value attached to it.
Absolutely.
So then I started writing the with the intention that it needs to have commercial value, and that was the seed through which I get the idea that it needs to have a music, and how that's how it converted from a normal feature
Short
film
to
from a short film to a feature
feature
film
film.
to a commercial film that has commercial value attached to that. So
Right.
yeah.
I would love to know this thing since you've brought in the commercial value and all that stuff. When you write a movie, how important is for you to balance that aspect of having that creative value plus also the marketability? Because end of the day, you are a director, but there's someone that's producing it. There's someone that's putting money into it.
Yeah.
So you also need to convince the producers where, you're putting in the money.
Yeah.
You also expect the producers to earn money through it, right?
Yeah.
So how important is it to balance that creative aspect at the same time, the marketability of the project?
It is, again, it's very challenging because from my experience, I learn it on the go. Because of course, when I wrote the first draft, it was something which I wanted to say, right? So I never thought it from the commercial angle perspective. But when you start meeting to the other people, they will guide you, especially the industry people who are in the industry already, who knows about how the business works. They would be able to understand, wow, this is a beautiful story, Ali. But then you tell me how many audience will watch it, So you need to do something so that it gets commercially, it can rise up into the ladder, in the graph. So those people starts give you the suggestion. So I
Right.
think in my case, I learn on the go. But coming back to your question, I believe when you are writing a story, do what your heart says. Don't think about commercial angle. Don't think about which actor will play this role. Write what your heart says, what you think is the right way for this story to go forward. Also, like, it's very important not to attach any actors in the starting phase. So once you are completed with a draft that you are happy with, then you go into the market and you start pitching it to like, maybe don't pitch even at this stage, because the initial draft will be pathetic. You have to throw those draft. I mean, as a person, you would think that, oh, this is a beautiful draft, but believe me, the initial draft are something that no one should really even narrate it to anyone. But go and narrate to those people, not the industry, like
Some of your
production
close
houses, but of
friends.
your close friends whom you
Right.
can trust. narrate them and then get the advice from them. The advice and the suggestions that you will get from them will be so important. Believe me, like like especially the suggestions that you will get from your family, someone who will have unfiltered criticism, like your wife. Like
Yeah.
she would just give you the feedback that after hearing like feedback from my wife, sometime I would just throw my draft. So yeah, do that, and then during this, like when you're doing this exercise, you would come to know that
That's right.
commercially
Yeah.
how you can make it more viable. So
Right.
it has to go natural. There is no formula, I would say. It has to just go on to a natural
You
process.
just go by the flow, go by
Just
the
go by
vibe,
the
what you
flow.
feel.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Ali bhai, one thing I would love to know is Hindi Vindi for me was like a completely different experience because it's bringing in two different cultures,
Mm.
two different countries together, two different industries together. How challenging was it for you?
It was pretty challenging, I would say, to be honest, because we went with this vision that we wanted to tell a story that brings the Australian culture and Indian culture. We also went in this project with the vision that we want to bring the Australian creatives and Indian creatives, Australian music director and an Indian music director. So on paper, it's
Amazing.
amazing. Oh wow, you're doing this, then that. But then when you try to execute, it gets so challenging.
Challenging.
It gets challenging mentally. It gets challenging physically as well, because then you have to travel between these two countries. Like the last year when I was doing the post production, I don't know how many times I have traveled to India, maybe 4 times, 5 times, and that too managing my uh, full time job, managing my uh, like my family, and then switching between these two countries. So it was challenging,
Hmm.
but then the the thing that keep you going is the vision, right? You have a vision. Wow, okay, one day this film will get completed, and it will be there in the theaters, and people will watch the film. They will like the film. They will talk about it. So that is your end goal. That's the mission which keeps you going. So yes, take challenging roles, but then if you take challenging things, you just have to make sure that you keep consistently, you try to achieve that rather than, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Ali bhai, when we are talking about challenges
Mm.
with the cinema, especially, I guess one of the challenges with the present scenario is that with the you know evolution of the OTT and everything,
Yeah.
how difficult is it to bring in the audience to these cinemas because you have the ease of watching the movies
Yeah.
at your own pace on OTTs. So do you think it's become a bit challenging for the directors and the filmmakers to bring in audience to the cinema?
I would try to answer this question in a different perspective actually.
Mm-hmm.
So this answer, that the question that you're asking is applicable to the filmmakers who are already established. So we'll come to that part. Let's answer this question from an aspiring filmmakers like me.
Mm-hmm.
I would think this as a boon actually, because think about a time when there was no OTT platform. The
Mm-hmm.
only way to get audience to see your film was the theater, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is limited number of theaters, and there are huge number of amount of films. So how many films will go into the theaters, and the number of films that will be shelved even after completing. So this is real, right?
Yeah, yeah.
90% of the film doesn't go to the cinema
Theaters.
hall or doesn't come to the in front of the audience.
Right.
So that was a scenario, and then fast forward couple of years, you have this big OTTs like Netflix, Amazon Prime,
Amazon Prime,
Z5.
yeah.
So filmmaker, an aspiring filmmaker like me, has now got this opportunity where you're making a film which is not a big commercial film, doesn't have action sequences and stars. It's a normal story about emotions, about human connections and all. He has made a film, like a filmmaker has made a film, and he wants to put it in front of the audience. So this OTT is actually a boon because it's giving you an added platform
Hmm.
through which the audience can watch this film. So that is a story about the commercial, sorry, about the aspiring filmmakers. Now, if I have to explain this scenario, this problem from a well
Established.
established filmmaker, I think we have been discussing on this topic from a long time, but there are so many films that has proven to do well in the cinema, which
Hmm.
assures me that audience will go and watch the film if um, if the content is correct, if the
Right.
story demands the audience to go and watch the film in theaters, they will go. And if the content is not good, they will not watch it. Like take an example of War 2. It's such a beautiful franchisee. War 1, everyone loves War 1. Everyone loves Hrithik Roshan. It's from YRF, amazing, beautiful songs. has been picturized beautifully, but no one has gone and watched in the theaters
Because the
because
content wasn't
people are
strong.
not able to connect to the with the storyline or with the actors. But when it comes to the OTT, I'm
Mhm.
sure people will go and watch it like guilty binge watch. Oh, it's there on the OTT. Let me just watch it.
Okay.
So yeah, I think um, cinema business will never go down. I mean, it can get challenging, but it will never go down if there is a right amount. If a film that has been made for the cinema,
Mhm.
audience will go and they will watch it.
That's an interesting take. I mean, a different perspective.
Mm,
I would love to know your view on this topic or a thing where a lot of people have been discussing this off late,
mm,
where there's a lot of discussion in terms of the comparison between South Indian movies
mm,
and the Bollywood movies.
mm.
Because if you look in the past few years, there's a lot of evolution in terms of the South Indian
Yeah,
cinemas, in terms of the
yeah.
script writing, storyline, and most of the movies considered pan Indian movies
Mm,
a lot. Whereas Bollywood, if you see, seems like it's still stuck in sort of, a bit of the past and
yeah.
not getting that sort of evolution in terms of
Mm,
the stories or different sort of stuff. So where do you see this comparison between South Indian and the Bollywood
mm.
movies?
Yeah, that is also a topic I believe we have been talking in the last couple of maybe last from the last few 5 or 6 years.
Hmm.
Everyone is talking about, and that's actually that is actually a good topic to discuss and maybe to analyze. Even like my if I have to choose my uh, favorite films, it's most of the films are from the is from the down south,
Yeah.
like maybe Bahubali or KGF, Franchisee, Kantara.
Mm.
Um, to answer this question, I believe the most important reason is that in Bollywood there are most of the projects, not all, but most of the projects, most of the films are considered as a project rather than giving more weightage to the creativity. But
Mm.
back in South, they they give more weightage to the script. So the most important ingredient to start a film is the script.
Story.
I believe everyone
Mm.
believes in that, right? So when they are making a project, the most important ingredient they are starting to make that um uh, you know they are starting on this journey is right.
Mm.
Whereas in Bollywood, they are not giving that importance to the
The
story.
script
They are giving the importance to the project. When they
project
say project, like they think about from the commercial perspective, who's gonna be the director, who's gonna be the actors, where
actors.
it's gonna be releasing, what day it's gonna be releasing. So they bring all those information um, at the very beginning, and then once they have all these informations and all these things are already put into the place, then they start working on. Okay, right, okay. So we have got Ritik Roshan. He has signed a film with us. What should we do? Okay, let's make War 2. Okay.
Mm.
Now they are making a project because they have got a star associated with
Signed.
them.
Yeah.
And now the writers and the directors will start writing. I'm just assuming, okay? So this is the story. Then they will start writing War 2.
They'll keep him in the picture and write it.
Yeah, they are writing, but it's not always possible to crack the story. But then they have got a defined amount of time, right? They know that they have to shoot by the end of this year.
Mm.
And creativity sometimes doesn't come automatically. It might come to you the next year, or it might come to you next year, like
Yeah.
the idea. And if
Correct.
the idea is not there, you might be forcefully you have to make this project. So I think that is the reason why in Bollywood a lot of films fail, because they make the project, whereas in the South Indian they make the story first and then they make the project. That is what my maybe an assumption, but I'm not sure if
Interesting.
that's
That's
it.
an interesting take because I feel the same what you've said.
Yeah,
Because in terms of the South Indian films, I mean, I've been watching a lot of South
yeah,
Indian films of late, and
yeah.
there's a lot of creativity in terms of the scripting, in terms of the storyline, in terms of how the movie is
Mm,
narrated. Everything is just like
top notch. Yeah,
interesting, top notch.
yeah.
They've just taken it to the next level. Coming back to Hindi Vindi, one thing I would love to know from you is looking at your cast, you had uh, Neena Gupta, who's like a
Mm,
well established and experienced
yeah.
actress. You had Guy Sebastian, who's a very famous musician out here in Australia, but
Mm,
he was making his debut in this movie. Then we had Mihir Ahuja,
yeah,
who's done a few films, but then he's also an upcoming actor. So you had like people coming up from different experience levels and different backgrounds.
yeah.
So was it challenging for you to bring in the best possible output from these different sort of actors because everyone was coming from different backgrounds, different experiences?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I think that it was pretty challenging because it was my first film I was doing my debut as well.
Right.
So initially, even my confidence was a bit low, and then having versatile actor on board like Nina Ji and Guy Sebastian, who is so popular here in Australia, and even it was his first debut feature film. So I was a bit nervous, but then I believe when I started on this journey, like on the day one when I was doing the like I was doing the scene with Nina Ji, it started automatically started everything started falling in place.
Hmm.
And Nina Ji is like she's so talented. I believe that it gets very easy for a filmmaker like me, someone who is just starting into this industry. So, like, if you have got a Nina Ji as an actor on board and who has done so many films, and if you just narrate a scene to her, she is able to understand the emotions of the scene, like what the director wants, rather
Hmm.
than you have to explain. For an example, if there is another actor who is just starting to do the acting, then in that situation, the director has to really handhold and make sure that they understand the emotions and equations of each and everything. But with Ninaji, it was very easy for me.
Hmm.
And going back to Mihir again, he's also very talented. If you have seen this film, you would
Yeah.
have noticed that he has just got the right amount of equations, emotions wherever it was
Feels
required
natural too.
in this scene. So I did workshop with Mihir before going on to the schedule. So I went to Mumbai so before doing the filming 3 to 4 months, I went to Mumbai and I did a workshop with him. So we tried to do the scenes together, and so we were able to fit a lot of things in that phase. So it got very easy.
Hmm.
And with Guy, so Guy, since it was his first feature film as an actor as well,
Hmm.
he did a lot of homework as well. So I did a lot of workshops with him, but he also did his homework all by himself, like reading the dialogues and then trying to do the acting in front of the mirror, getting ready before each and every day of the filming. So I think because of this, everyone trying to do the best, it gets easy for me. So it was challenging, but it got easy.
Okay, but
Yeah.
I guess you had to have like different approach for different
Different
actors because
approach,
yeah.
yes,
Okay,
yeah.
interesting. Now, I would love to know this from you as a story writer or a director. What do you think makes a story powerful enough to resonate across cultures?
Mm,
Because if you're making a movie, for example, if you're making a movie which you won't consider the fact that okay, making a movie for you might have a target audience
mm,
obviously, but then you might also think that I want to make a movie which everyone should love, right? For example, if you made a movie Hindi Vindi,
yeah.
what do you think makes a story something which resonates across the cultures or something which would connect with people? Is there some sort of a particular pointers you think
Mm.
about when you're writing the script or something?
Again, as I said before, there's no right or wrong formula. But what I believe the most important aspect
Mm.
when you're making a film or when you're writing a film is to make sure that your emotions are falling in right place.
Right.
That's the most important part. In You talk about any genre of the film, emotions has to be right, and it has to the audience should connect with your protagonist, with your characters. If the audience is not able to connect, then no matter how beautiful the story has been written or how much um, action sequences you're doing, that everything will be of no use. So just take an example, like take example of the some of the best films that has worked in the past few years. Maybe let's talk about Sayara.
Mm.
So Sayara is a beautiful film. Everyone loved it. Why everyone loved it is because when you're watching the film, you
Connect
laugh
with it.
with the characters. You cry with those characters because you're connecting. The
Mm.
emotions is right.
Right.
So that's an emotional film, right? It's a musical drama film. Not. Let's take example about some action film or like epic films. Talk about Rajamouli's Bahubali.
Mm.
Huge sets, a lot of actions happening, but you still connect with those
With this,
characters
yeah.
because the emotion, like the emotion of of the mother and the son, it's so beautifully written that you connect with those characters,
Mm.
and then that journey you want to go on the journey along with them. So um, So if you want to connect to the audience globally, you have to make sure that your emotions are right, because that's the only language that is spoken or understand across the globe, which is the human emotions.
I would want to know from you as a filmmaker, since we're talking about the story and the content,
Mm.
do you think content is bigger than stars? Is there something you believe in that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Always. You again, there are so many examples. You have talented actors on your project, but if you don't have a content, no one is gonna go into the theaters and watch it,
Mm-hmm.
because um, like, of course, there is a fan following of few actors. So those people who blindly follow these actors, they will go and they will watch whatever the content is being given to them. They will consume those content, but there is a very small set of audience. Most of the audience, like you and me, we all have our own famous actors, but we just don't want to go and watch our famous actors. We want to watch them doing the best thing, doing the best performance that they can give, and
Mm-hmm.
we want to watch them telling a story which we can resonate with. So
Absolutely.
so it's always important to have, like, content is more important, 100% more important than having the stars.
I guess like we spoke about Sayara, right?
Yeah.
I guess that says about it.
That's,
Like,
yeah, as a beautiful
because I guess it was a new movie,
Yeah.
something no one expected would be such a huge hit, but
Yeah.
then it had the content, the acting was good, so everything worked out for them,
Yeah.
which is good. Tell me something in terms of entrepreneurs or
Mm.
probably creators.
Mm.
What do you think is something they can take away from the films or the way films define stories? Do you think there's a lot of takeaway points for them too?
So basically, see, with the films, what the thing that you're learning from the film is that, so are you this so this question is like, let me answer this question from an aspiring filmmaker's perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from an aspiring filmmaker's perspective, when you're making a film, like, if I just have to revisit my journey, what things that someone can take from this journey, or even me, what I can take from this journey, is that anything that you are dreaming of, and if you want to achieve that dream, it's it's always possible. But the most important thing that you have to do in achieving those dreams is that you have to be passionate in what you want to do, and you have to be consistently keep doing it. You can't sitting into a passive zone and just, you know manifesting that those things will become true. That's not gonna happen. You have to really start walking, start jogging, start running, to make sure that you achieve what you are
What do
trying
you
to
want
do.
to do?
So that's in the film industry. But if you're taking example of this approach in any field, maybe in the business as an entrepreneurs, it's always true. It's gonna be the same formula, that if you want to achieve something, the most important thing is that you need to dream first. If you are dreaming something, then it's always possible, because in the history, people are doing that. People are making that dream come true. So if they are doing it, why can't you do it? But
Yeah.
the only thing is that you have to work towards achieving that.
Hmm.
Then only it's going to be possible for you to achieve that.
But I also consider the fact that, movies obviously serve as a medium for a lot of people to learn different stuff, but it's always very important, I feel, to pick up the right things,
Mm.
because movies, I feel, can also have negative influences of people,
Mm.
because movies are all about everything, right?
Yeah.
There's always not positive stuff being shown. There's also negative stuff being
Mm.
shown too. What do you think about this? Like,
Yeah, okay. That's a interesting take on the film. So I mean, yeah, I mean, see, we all have grown watching films, and I believe as a filmmaker, it's definitely it's your responsibility that when you're making a film, you try to pass on a good message, social message to the audience. It's not always possible, because at the end of the day, a lot of people, especially back in India, a lot of people go and watch, like, they buy the ticket and go into the cinema because they want to get entertained. They don't want to get they don't want to
feel good factor.
get a social message
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
right, right.
documentary kind of feeling. So it's a difficult situation, but but it's not difficult also. Think about one of my favorite directors movie, Rajkumar Hirani.
Hmm.
You get entertained
Right.
watching his film, but at the
Absolutely.
same time, there is also subtle social message,
Social message
which
being
you
passed
will
on.
see in all my short films. In all my short films, there is always a message, which I
Hmm.
make sure that I give a message, right? Not right on the nose, but it's there
It's
somewhere.
there somewhere,
Yeah,
indirectly coming
yeah,
through.
yeah, hovering around in the premises, like um, Rajkumar Hirani's film, like PK. or Munna Bhai MBBS. They're a beautiful message given in such a nice
Right.
style. So, as a filmmaker, I believe that's your responsibility. One, like if you're making 5 films, not if not in 5 films, make sure that you at least give return back something
To
to
the
the
audience,
society,
to the society.
at
Yeah.
least in 1 or 2 films, right? But at the same time, you also want to make sure that you entertain the audience. So, like in my Hindi Vindi, there is a message, right? It's a beautiful message out to the Indian community that you need to make sure that your kids are stay true to your roots. They know your regional language.
Yeah.
There's no harm in going and settling into the into English speaking country, but then back home you have got your elder parents, and you want them to be connected with your kids. So
Yes.
make sure that they follow the legacy, and they know the
Maintain
culture,
that connection.
so that is the message. Of course, it's not directly on the nose. If you see the film, it's an entertainment film. It's a commercial film with a lot of music and a lot of things that you will want to watch, but this is the message. So
Mm.
that as a filmmaker, I believe that is your responsibility. But talking about negative influence, mm, that is something which I believe the censors has to make sure that the movies, if there is content which is not right to the audience, are properly censored, because getting influence is easy when you're in that age zone where you can easily get influence. Like an adult, I don't think at this point, at this age, you will get influenced by watching the films.
Mm.
Maybe the teens can watch the film. So it's very important for the censorship to make sure that you have a right, proper controlled, but having putting the restrictions on the filmmakers not to make any kind of film.
Kills in
That's
the creativity too.
it feels, it's put an edge, stop to the creativity, but at the same time, it goes into a gray zone where it's very difficult to understand,
What is right?
where
What
to
is
put
wrong?
the limit, and like it's a very thin line. Maybe
Mm.
take an example about Animal.
Animal.
Like
Yeah.
we have been talking about Animal from the last 2 years, but yeah,
Yeah.
there's no right or wrong answer. I mean, if you hear the conversation from Animal's director, you think he's right. If you hear the conversation from the people who are opposing Animal, you think, oh, they may be right. So it's like,
Everyone's got their own point of
yeah,
view
they
about
have
that.
got
Yes.
their
Yeah.
own point of view.
Tell me from your point of view as a filmmaker, was there any point you felt that this is not worth taking the risk, or this is not going to work out, or probably giving up? Have you ever felt that way?
Lot of time. Yeah, I think as just like in any business or in any line, how there will be ups and downs. Like there will be a time where you will feel a lot of motivation. You will think that you're pumped up and you want to
Yeah.
achieve, and that there will be moments where you will be very demotivated. Think, oh, maybe I'm not doing the right thing. Maybe this is not the right way. I might not be able to achieve that. So that will definitely has happened with me as well.
Mm.
But then again, as I've been mentioning, your end goal is very important.
Mm.
Whenever there is this kind of situation where you feel that you are low on energy, what you're doing is not the right thing, maybe you're not on the right path, just look at the end goal. My end goal is always like, I have grown up watching film. I always get inspiration when I watch my favorite films, like maybe Lagan or all the films that are my favorite films. Whenever I feel low, whenever I think that I'm feeling demotivated, I again watch the film, and I go back to the era when I was in my teens and I was watching this film in a theater, and I thought, oh wow, I want to be a filmmaker. I want to tell these stories like this way, and go back to that zone and think about why you started this journey. You know,
Absolutely. Okay.
so
Interesting.
that really inspires me. That happens with me. I mean, it keeps happening with me all the time. Like, even though I have completed my first feature film, people will be thinking for him, for Ali, it might be very easy for starting with the second feature film. Believe me, it's the same struggle. It's the same hustle that I
Every
have been
movie is
doing.
different.
Every movie is different movie,
Mm.
and and you're writing. We don't know like who's gonna read the script, but you're still writing, and you feel demotivated. Stop writing. You close the laptop, and then you're not writing anything for a few days, and then again you think that, no, I want the motivation, so I just switch on. I go to Netflix and switch on my favorite film. I watch the films, same scenes, and then I get goosebumps, and I start getting motivated again. I think
Yeah,
everyone
right.
should do that same thing.
Yeah. I guess everyone's got their own way of
Their
getting
own way of
Yeah.
getting out
True.
into their own zone. Yeah.
That is interesting. Now, one thing I would love to know from you is, obviously you had a different journey of, your career in terms of profession and short films and all that. Was there any sort of failure throughout your whole career? If it was, What did it teach you, if there was one?
The failure, mean to say. So yeah, I mean, see, there it's a different perspective to look at the thing, right? If I am let me put myself into a year, maybe 2016, where I started into the making the I started making the short films. If I'm standing in 2016, I'm looking myself in 2025 when I have actually completed a full feature film and it got released into the theater. It's one of the biggest achievement for me. It's like a dream for me, right?
Hmm.
But if I come directly into 2025 when the film has already released in the theaters, um, your ask from the film gets a little bit more, so you are not always satisfied with what you are getting. I mean, it's not good thing, you should be satisfied with what you're getting,
Completely.
but as a human, I think that's one of the like I think that's one of the demerit, you
Hmm.
always want to achieve more. So your film is already released into the theaters. People are watching and it's going to come onto the OTT in at some point in time. But you start thinking that, oh, what if this movie has been taken by a big production house? It might be released on a bigger scale, maybe Dhamma Productions or YRF must have got this Hindi Vindi as one of the co-producers of production house. They must have released. So you start feeling a little bit failure, but then go back again to the time when this was actually making a film for you as a dream.
Dream. Yeah.
So I think, yeah, coming back to your point, it like the failures is always very it's a term that that is right when you are into that situation. Then you might think that this is a failure, but it's actually not a failure. It's just a different way of perception,
I guess because it's failure is different to different people in
different to
different
different
ways.
people. Yeah.
That is nice. One thing I'd like to know from you, because you are an aspiring filmmaker, right? I mean, you've
Mm.
done short films, you've done your first feature film, gonna do your next one. One thing I'd like to know from you is what advice would you give to someone who
Mm.
wants to be an aspiring filmmaker or wants to get started at some point?
Yeah, I would give the same advice that I have been giving to myself. Like, get into this zone that you actually start doing something physically, mentally for achieving what you want to do. So if you have got a vision that you want to make films, okay, or anything, like not only in the direction or in the writing or in the editing, any field, if you want to achieve something, make sure that you do the right thing to achieve that.
Hmm.
Um, like if like taking my example, as I think I did mention that before, if I would have taken that decision that I wanted to be a film and I was completed my education, would have gone into the industry which is close to the film industry. And
Mhm.
rather than doing a IT job, I would have gone, if I was connected to IT, I might have gone into a IT field which is connected to the film industry, like either post production houses, the like in the post production editing, DI, that is a huge
Yeah, there's a huge team.
IT area that you can explore, because you're connected with the industry people, you are networking with them, and then it gets very easy for you to achieve something that you want to do, rather than doing something which is completely opposite to your film making career, and then at the same time doing the hustle like what I have been doing. But I think it depends on person to person and situation to situation.
Mhm.
But yes, I think the end goal is that if you want to achieve something, just try to achieve, like try on get onto the journey so that you get closer to and closer to achieve what you want to achieve.
I guess the first thing,
Yeah.
do you reckon, is to dream?
Yeah, watch dream, because that's the most important thing. If you have a dream, that's how everything will
Start.
start for
Yeah.
you, because otherwise you don't have a motivation, right? You don't have a
Hmm.
like a mission or a vision, something that you want to achieve.
Interesting. That is nice. That's nice to know. One thing you would tell any sort of aspiring filmmakers or probably creators or anyone, one thing that is non-negotiable for aspiring filmmakers, something they just have to do. It can't be, something that can be ignored.
I believe that would be consistency.
Hmm.
Like, you have to keep trying consistently, keep trying, keep doing that. If you fail, do that again.
Yeah.
If you fail, do that again, because the moment you stop, your journey to achieve
S-
what you want
Ends,
to achieve, it
stops.
ends over there.
Hmm.
It's a simple maths right? It's a simple maths. Like if you um, if you want to get something right, the number of time you try,
Yeah.
your chance of winning that thing will increase. It's
Increase.
exactly same in any in your filmmaking
Any field.
career or in any career. Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, just consistently try.
So consistency, I guess, is important for any sort of profession to just stay consistent and just,
Yeah.
at some point of time, you keep trying and you just achieve things. And so
Absolutely. I take my again taking my example. Like I started making the short film, so I was enjoying this process. I was making one short film, releasing it, putting it on YouTube, and then I get onto the journey to make another short film. If I would have stopped there, then we might not be sitting today here and talking about the journey. So I was doing it again and again. So I made my feature film. But if I stop after making Hindi Vindi, and then you would not be able to see Ali Sayed making next feature film. So for that, I have to consistently keep doing that. And for consistent, I have to make sure that I get into the next project.
one.
Next, even though there is no production house associated, there is no one associated. It's all by myself. I'm motivating all by myself, all making sure that I keep writing the next
one.
feature film that I'm writing. So yeah, that's more important.
I guess, anyway, also with the consistency, I guess it's also a beautiful journey of learning from your mistakes too. I guess because the more consistent you are, the more mistakes you make, right? Because you're doing a lot of new stuff, you're doing
Absolutely.
stuff,
Yeah.
you keep learning from your mistakes, and then you want to make sure you don't repeat the same mistakes what you've done in the past. I guess that makes you better as a human, makes you better in your own profession too.
Exactly.
So I guess that is also
The journey is the most important.
You have
thing
to
is the
enjoy the journey.
Like so, when we get onto this journey of making Hindi Vindi, it started somewhere around early 2000. It's actually started in 2021. But let's say for this topic that we started at 2023, and it got released in theaters in February 2025. So there is this journey of 2 years. So that journey is most important for you because the amount of learning that you will get in this journey of these 2 years from starting this project out of nowhere and then making sure that it gets released into the theater. That's the most beautiful thing.
So, Ariba, we've had a lot of intense discussions about a lot of things, a lot of inputs, a lot of different things. Now, we're going to do a quick fire round with
Sure.
There's a surprise round.
Okay.
Right? We've planned something for you. So, I would love to know one quick fire. You need to answer this like rapidly, right?
Okay.
So, let's do this. First is, if not Bollywood, what's the other industry you would love to direct in?
If not Bollywood, then I would be into the Australian film industry because I'm in Australia.
Okay.
So I'm here settled here, which is like next close to the next option for me. If not Bollywood.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought you'd probably say South Indian films or something.
Aha. Okay. In that phase. Okay. If you're talking about India, then yes, absolutely, because that's again, it's one of the beautiful industry, and like they are just doing wonders in the last couple of years.
Next question is direction or screenwriting?
Screenwriting.
Interesting. Now, working with Nina Gupta or Guy Sebastian, who surprised you more?
Guy Sebastian, because like
He's
Nina Gupta is Nina Gupta. You know what to expect from her. Like she's a beautiful actor, and she did that's the same thing. But with Guy Sebastian, we were in little bit into a zone where we're not sure about his acting skills. But when he came onto the set, everyone, including me, were like we were surprised.
Next one I would love to know is one film you wish you would have directed.
Okay. I will talk. I'll mention about the film that inspired me most to get into the filmmaking career, and that's Lagan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's one of my favorite film. I still remember the time when I went with my dad. We got the tickets in black because it was houseful. I was watching the film in the theater, and it was an experience like as if I'm sitting in a cinema hall. I'm sitting in a stadium and watching the cricket match. I came back home, and my sisters, they did not got the chance to watch the film, and I was like maybe 13, 14 years of age at that time, and they asked me like, can you tell me what the film is about? And I was narrating the story to them, and that is the moment, first time I thought that actually I'm a very good
storyteller,
script narrator, because I was using the background music, the scene when Amir Khan is watching with his bat, and then there is a background music, ding ding.
Interesting.
So I was narrating them with the entire music, and for them, they were like, It was like they were saying to me as if they are watching the film in a cinema. So that was, I think, Lagan was, I would say, Lagan was the time.
Hmm.
The Lagan was the film through which I got so much inspiration to get into the filmmaking industry.
That is nice. Aliva, you did great on this rapid fire question round. The last thing I would like to I would like to ask you, and I would like you to tell our audience is if Ali Bhai could go back in time and give one advice to his younger self, or probably give one advice to the aspiring filmmakers, or probably if you can give one advice to yourself, to your younger self, what
Yeah.
would it be? And I would like to tell to our
Yeah.
audience.
I'll again go back to the same topic that I believe I mentioned in a couple of questions. I did mention to Mazhar. So if let's say just take an example about filmmaking journey, right? So that's an example, but it can be in any career. So let's assume that you want to do something in filmmaking career. You want to be director or a writer or a editor, cinematographer, anything. So make sure that if you want to get into this career, don't go into another career. Okay. And I know that in India, people's like, especially your parents say that this is an industry which is like very difficult to crack in. You might not be able to earn money. That is true, definitely true. I think that is true for the actors or even for the directors. It's true, but what about getting into a career which is close to filmmaking or connected to the filmmaking? At this point in time, take an example about the filmmaking industries. It's a huge industry, and there are jobs which you can just um, crack the interviews and you can get into these jobs like a normal corporate job, but you're still connected to the film industry. So what is happening is that you are in the same industry. You're meeting the people who are talking about the films. You're meeting with the people who are working for the films, so that your journey to get into your vision that you want to get into at any point in time gets more easier for you. So I think my advice, like if I go back to my younger self, just after passing out from the university, rather than going and doing IT jobs, I would just go and do something IT related, maybe in the editing or maybe into the animations or visual effects, so that I'm still connected with the same domain,
Right.
the same industry.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like start early if you
Start
want to.
early. Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Ali Bhai, for coming on to this session of our podcast and gracing our show. So that's it, guys, from us. Stay tuned, keep watching, and we'll see you in the next episode with another guest. Till then, we'll keep it raw, we keep it real. Thank you.